Did you know that the Bible predicted the digital currencies and pandemics we are experiencing today? It seems impossible, but it's true. Get ready to discover how sacred texts from thousands of years ago revealed the modern world in a shocking way. If you think you know the Bible, think again. Ancient prophecies are being fulfilled before our eyes, and the truth is more disturbing than you imagine. Stay with us and see why faith may be the key to understanding the times we live in. In recent decades, we have witnessed a significant transformation in the way the world conducts its economic transactions. The emergence of digital currencies and the formation of global economic systems have played a central role in this change. Digital currencies, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, were initially conceived as decentralized alternatives to traditional money, offering a form of transaction that does not depend on intermediaries such as banks and governments. This revolutionary innovation paved the way for the creation of new markets and economic opportunities, allowing fast, secure transactions with low operational costs. Global economic systems, in turn, have been consolidated through international financial institutions, trade agreements, and communication networks that interconnect economies of different countries. This economic interconnection facilitates the flow of capital, goods, and services around the world, promoting economic growth and cooperation between nations. However, this economic globalization also brings challenges, such as the concentration of economic power and vulnerability to global financial crises. The Bible, in its millennial wisdom, brings references that can be interpreted as allusions to these modern economic systems. In the book of Revelation, we find passages that mention economic control and the mark of the beast. Revelation 13 verses 16 to 17 states, "It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name." These passages have been the subject of numerous interpretations over the centuries. Many scholars and theologians see in them a prediction of the economic control that could be exercised through centralized systems and advanced technologies, such as digital currencies and global financial networks. The idea of a mark that conditions participation in the economic market resonates with the growing dependence on digital identities and biometric authentications to conduct financial transactions. By connecting these scriptures with the current context, we realize that digital currencies and global economic systems are not just technological advances, but also elements that evoke deep reflections on control and economic freedom. These considerations invite us to carefully analyze the directions we take as a society, seeking to balance innovation and ethics, progress, and moral principles. Despite all the technological and medical advances, the modern world remains susceptible to pestilences and pandemic diseases. In recent years, humanity faced the devastating COVID-19 pandemic, which resulted in millions of deaths and profound impacts on the economy and society. The SARS-CoV-2 virus, which causes COVID-19, spread rapidly around the world, exposing weaknesses in global health systems and the interconnectivity of nations. Besides COVID-19, other infectious diseases have caused significant outbreaks. The Ebola virus, for example, had several severe outbreaks in West Africa, with high mortality rates and significant challenges for local health systems. Avian flu and the Zika virus also emerged as threats, causing international concerns due to their potential for spread and impact on public health. Increasing urbanization, global population growth, and environmental degradation contribute to the rapid spread of pathogens. Climate change, deforestation, and increasing interaction between humans and wildlife increase the risk of zoonoses, diseases transmitted from animals to humans. These conditions create a conducive environment for the emergence of new pandemics, challenging the capacity of health systems to respond effectively. The impacts of pandemics go beyond physical health, affecting mental health, the economy, and social structures. Social isolation, economic losses, and uncertainty about the future generate anxiety and stress on a large scale. Responding to these crises requires effective international coordination, investment in research and vaccine development, and an integrated approach that includes prevention, control, and treatment measures. The Bible mentions pestilences and diseases as signs of the end times, providing a spiritual perspective on these calamities. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 21, verse 11, Jesus warns, "There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven." This passage is part of Jesus' prophetic discourse about the signs that will precede the end times. These biblical references are seen as warnings about the fragility of human life and the need for constant spiritual vigilance. Pestilences are interpreted as manifestations of God's judgments, inviting humanity to repentance and reflection on its ways. They remind believers of the importance of maintaining faith and trust in God, especially in times of adversity. When considering contemporary pandemics in the light of scriptures, we are encouraged to see beyond the purely physical aspects of diseases and recognize the spiritual and moral implications. The response to pandemics should not be only scientific and medical, but also compassionate and ethical. Solidarity, mutual help, and care for the most vulnerable are fundamental principles that emerge both from the scriptures and from Christian practice. Moreover, pandemics remind us of global interdependence and the need for international cooperation. Just as the spread of diseases does not respect borders, our response must be unified and coordinated. The search for joint solutions, the sharing of knowledge and resources, and the promotion of global health are collective responsibilities that reflect the biblical commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. In recent years, technology has been transforming various spheres of human life, from the economy and health to education and entertainment. AI, with its ability to process large volumes of data and learn from them, is revolutionizing how we interact with technology and optimize complex processes. The application of AI is vast and diverse. In the healthcare sector, for example, AI algorithms are used to diagnose diseases with high accuracy, analyze medical images, and predict epidemic outbreaks. In the industry, intelligent automation is improving production, increasing efficiency, and reducing costs. In the field of transportation, autonomous vehicles and intelligent traffic systems are becoming a reality, promising to increase safety and efficiency. AI is also playing a significant role in daily life. Virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa use AI to answer questions, perform tasks, and provide information. Recommendation platforms, such as those used by streaming services and social networks, employ AI to personalize the user experience, suggesting content based on their preferences and behavior. However, these advances also bring significant ethical and social implications. Automation and AI raise questions about privacy, data security, and the impact on the job market. The use of AI for surveillance and control can potentially threaten individual freedoms and human rights. Additionally, there are concerns about the creation of autonomous AI that can operate without human supervision, leading to unpredictable consequences. The Bible, in its prophecies and teachings, offers analogies that can be interpreted as reflections on AI developments. In Revelation 13 verse 15, we read, "The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed." This passage describes an image that speaks and moves, evoking the idea of artificial entities with advanced interaction capabilities. This analogy can be seen as a symbolic representation of modern AI systems, which have the ability to speak through voice interfaces and act autonomously. The implications of this biblical passage invite us to reflect on the power and influence that AI can have over humanity. Just as the image of the beast in Revelation exercises control and demands worship, AI, if not managed ethically and responsibly, can assume a dominant role in our lives, affecting our decisions and behaviors. The biblical connection warns us about the dangers of creating and revering technologies without considering their moral and spiritual implications. The pursuit of technological progress must be balanced with a deep understanding of our ethical responsibilities. AI, with all its potential, should be developed and used in a way that serves the common good and respects human dignity. By contemplating AI advancements in the light of scriptures, we are encouraged to adopt a stance of vigilance and discernment. We must recognize the value of technological innovation, but also be aware of its possible abuses and distortions. The Christian faith guides us to seek balance, promoting technological development that reflects values of justice, compassion, and respect for human life. In conclusion, the developments in artificial intelligence represent a powerful and transformative trend in our era. They offer incredible opportunities, but also significant challenges that require careful reflection and responsible action. The biblical connection provides us with a perspective that helps us navigate these advancements wisely, integrating faith and ethics into our engagement with technology. In contemporary times, we observe a significant decline in morality and ethics within modern society. This trend manifests in various ways, from political and corporate corruption to the disintegration of family and community values. The relentless pursuit of material success and immediate pleasure has led many to disregard fundamental ethical principles, resulting in an increasingly individualistic and fragmented society. Corruption, both in the public and private sectors, is one of the most evident manifestations of this moral decline. Financial scandals, resource misappropriation, and abuse of power are frequently reported, undermining people's trust in the institutions that should protect and serve the common good. Dishonesty and lack of integrity become the norm, creating an environment where cheating and manipulation are often rewarded. Moreover, the decline of family values is also a growing concern. Rising divorce rates, domestic violence, and child abandonment are alarming signs of a society in crisis. The lack of commitment and the absence of a consistent moral model leave many young people disoriented and without a clear guide on what is right and wrong. The entertainment culture, in turn, glorifies questionable and often immoral behaviors. TV shows, movies, and music promote indulgence, violence, and the objectification of people, especially women. Constant exposure to these distorted values contributes to desensitization and the acceptance of behaviors that would previously be considered unacceptable. The Bible, in its prophecies, predicts a time of great moral and ethical depravity in the last days. In 2 Timothy 3 verses 1-5, we read, "But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people." These words strongly resonate with the current situation. The description of selfish, greedy, and loveless people is eerily accurate concerning what we see around us. The biblical prophecy serves as a warning about the consequences of straying from divine values and allowing immorality to infiltrate our lives and society. The biblical connection calls us to action, to resist the moral decline around us and live according to the ethical and moral principles taught by Christ. This implies not only maintaining personal integrity, but also being a voice of hope and correction in our communities. We must promote justice, truth, and love, even when these virtues seem to be disappearing. The Bible also encourages us to seek spiritual renewal and remain steadfast in faith, especially in times of moral decay. Through prayer, scripture study, and mutual support, we can strengthen our resilience against negative influences and be living examples of Christian morality and ethics. In a world marked by conflicts and instabilities, movements for peace and global security have gained prominence as essential efforts to promote harmony and stability among nations. International organizations, such as the United Nations, UN, have led initiatives to resolve conflicts, promote disarmament, and foster dialogue between disputing countries. Moreover, multilateral treaties and agreements, such as the Non-Proliferation Treaty and the Oslo Peace Accords, exemplify ongoing efforts to ensure global peace and security. These movements are not only reactive, dealing with crises as they arise, but also proactive, seeking to prevent conflicts through diplomacy, international cooperation, and sustainable development. Peace education, the promotion of human rights, and poverty eradication are key components of these initiatives, as lasting peace is seen as something that must be built on social justice and equality. However, despite these efforts, global peace and security remain elusive goals. Regional conflicts persist, new threats, such as terrorism and cybercrime, emerge, and tensions between major powers can quickly escalate into direct confrontations. The pursuit of peace is, therefore, an ongoing effort that requires constant vigilance, adaptation, and commitment from all nations. The Bible offers a unique perspective on movements for peace and global security, especially regarding the events of the last days. In 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3, we find the warning, "While people are saying, 'peace and safety,' destruction will come on them suddenly, as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape." This passage suggests that, in the period preceding the final destruction, there will be a false sense of security and peace. This biblical prophecy can be interpreted as a warning about the dangers of blindly trusting human solutions to deep global problems. While efforts for peace and security are noble and necessary, Scripture reminds us that true peace can only be achieved through a spiritual and moral transformation that comes from God. Human initiatives, no matter how well-intentioned, are limited by the fallible and sinful nature of humanity. In modern times, the proliferation of false prophets and false religious leaders has become a significant concern. These individuals, often charismatic and eloquent, emerge promising absolute truths and easy solutions to complex problems. Using emotional manipulation techniques and appealing to desperation, they manage to gather large followers, promoting distorted and dangerous doctrines. False prophets and deceptive teachers can be found on various platforms, from local churches and congregations to social media and digital media channels. They often proclaim themselves as bearers of exclusive divine revelations, inciting fear and confusion instead of promoting true faith and hope. Their messages often deviate from fundamental biblical teachings, emphasizing material prosperity, personal power, or a distorted view of Christian morality and ethics. One of the most pernicious characteristics of these false leaders is the exploitation of the vulnerable. People searching for meaning, healing, or spiritual answers are easy targets for those who promise miracles and blessings in exchange for blind devotion and often significant financial contributions. This abuse of power not only causes individual harm but also tarnishes the image of true Christian faith, generating skepticism and disillusionment among believers and non-believers alike. The Bible repeatedly warns about the presence of false prophets and teachers in the last days. In Matthew 24 verse 24, Jesus warns, "For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect." This passage is a clear warning about the ability of these individuals to confuse and mislead even those firmly established in faith. This biblical prophecy serves as a warning for believers to remain vigilant and discerning. The ability to distinguish between the true message of Christ and deceptive distortions requires a solid foundation in the knowledge of the Scriptures and a life of prayer and communion with God. The Bible offers clear criteria for identifying false prophets, their fruits. In Matthew 7 verses 15 to 20, Jesus instructs that false prophets can be recognized by their fruits, meaning the results of their actions and teachings. Believers are encouraged to test the spirits, according to 1 John 4 verse 1. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. This verse emphasizes the importance of spiritual discernment and seeking divine guidance when evaluating the teachings and claims of any spiritual leader. In addition to discerning and avoiding false prophets, believers have the responsibility to educate and protect each other. Fellowship and biblical study in the community help strengthen faith and identify erroneous doctrines. True spiritual leaders who exemplify humility, service, and adherence to Christ's teachings play a crucial role in guiding and protecting God's flock. The centralization of authority and global power has also become an evident trend in recent decades. International institutions, supranational organizations, and multilateral agreements are increasingly concentrating power and influence in a centralized core. This movement towards centralization of power is driven by the need to address complex global issues such as climate change, terrorism, and economic crises. However, the concentration of power also raises concerns about the loss of national sovereignty, lack of fair representation, and the potential for power abuses. The Bible, especially in the book of Daniel, prophesies about the concentration of power in the last days. In Daniel 7 verses 23 to 25, we read about a kingdom that will devour the whole earth, trampling it down and crushing it. This kingdom is often interpreted as a prefiguration of the global dominance of the Antichrist, who will centralize power and authority in an attempt to control all nations. These prophecies warn us about the dangers of excessive centralization of power and encourage us to maintain spiritual vigilance and fidelity to God, resisting forces that seek to unify the world under corrupt and oppressive authority. The growth of ecumenism and religious syncretism is another striking trend of our time. Ecumenism seeks unity among different Christian denominations, promoting dialogue and cooperation. On the other hand, religious syncretism involves the fusion of elements from various religions, creating new forms of spirituality that often dilute or distort traditional doctrines. While ecumenism can promote peace and understanding among different religious groups, syncretism can lead to theological confusion and the loss of religious identity. The growing acceptance of syncretic practices and beliefs reflects a quest for inclusive spirituality, but can also represent a departure from the fundamental truths of each faith. The Bible addresses the theme of false unified religion in Revelation 17. Where a woman symbolizing a false religion is seen riding a beast. This image represents a corrupt union of religious and political powers, deceiving and controlling the masses. This unified false religion is a warning about the dangers of compromising the truth in the pursuit of apparent unity and peace. The Scriptures exhort us to remain faithful to true faith, discerning false teachings and maintaining our devotion to God even amid pressure to conform to syncretic religious movements. By analyzing these current trends in light of biblical scriptures, it becomes evident that many of today's challenges were predicted in the Bible. From the rise of digital currencies to the growth of ecumenism, we see the relevance of biblical prophecies for our days. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue exploring these topics, follow our channel. Leave in the comments, which of these trends do you think is most impactful for our society? Thank you for watching. God bless you.